All right, today we're going to jump into some really powerful ideas from the book, The Courage to be Disliked. We're going to unpack this one single feeling that, according to Adlerian psychology, is the engine behind pretty much everything we do. So, let's just start with a question that really gets to the core of this whole thing. Think about it. What if that relentless drive you have, the one that pushes you to succeed, and at the same time, those terrible habits you just can't seem to shake? What if they both come from the exact same place? So, our journey here starts with a truly universal human experience. It's this hidden driver that Alfred Adler believed, well, it pretty much sets the stage for our entire lives. Okay, so the big idea here is what's called the feeling of inferiority. Adler's insight was pretty radical. He said, look, we're all born completely helpless, right? As babies, we can't do a single thing for ourselves. And that experience creates this really deep, universal feeling of being small and powerless. And here's the crucial part. This isn't a flaw. It's not something wrong with you. It's just the starting point for literally every single one of us. And this basic fact sets off this simple but super profound chain reaction that basically defines our lives. So step one, we start out helpless. Step two, that creates this feeling of inferiority. And step three, we spend the rest of our lives trying to overcome it, constantly chasing what Adler called a feeling of superiority, just so we can feel capable and worthy and secure. And you see this drive manifest everywhere. It's the engine behind our biggest ambitions. It's why we get so wrapped up in competition, and yeah, it's why some of us become total workaholics, obsessed with being number one. But there's a darker side too. It's also the reason people sometimes belittle others. It's just this really misguided attempt to make themselves feel bigger by making someone else feel smaller. So where does all this striving actually lead us? Well, all too often, it gets funneled into a really unhealthy place, what you could call the trap of approval. I mean, just think about how we're raised. From the time we're little kids, we learn a very simple lesson. If you do what the adults want, you get praised. If you don't, you get punished. It's this system of rewards and punishment that basically trains us to look outside of ourselves for a sense of worth. And this leads to a really crucial distinction. And it's a bit of a shocker. Praise, it turns out, isn't always a good thing. In Adler's view, praise is actually a tool of control. It's something a superior uses on an inferior to get them to behave a certain way. Respect, on the other hand, is totally different. Respect is seeing someone as your equal and just acknowledging them for who they are, period. This need to be seen, to just be acknowledged, can get so desperate that we'll take any kind of attention, even negative attention. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Being scolded is better than being ignored. Because the worst feeling in the world isn't being told you're wrong. It's the feeling of being completely invisible, like you don't even matter. So what's the result of all this? We end up on this hamster wheel, right? An endless chase for the next gold star, the next like, the next pat on the back. And what it really does is it makes us unfree. We're constantly anxious about what other people think, and we end up living a life that's all about their expectations, not our own. Okay, so that's the problem. How in the world do we break free? Well, this brings us to the heart of the solution in Adlerian psychology, and it really does require a massive shift in how we think about things. And here it is. This is the core message of the whole book. True freedom isn't about getting every single person to like you. It's about accepting yourself unconditionally. It's about looking in the mirror and being okay with who you see, flaws and all, without needing anyone else's stamp of approval. And this is a really big deal because it's where Adler completely breaks from someone like Freud. You see, the Freudian view is kind of like your past determines your present. Whatever happened to you, that's what makes you who you are today. But Adler's view? Totally different. He says, nope, nothing is determined. The past happened, sure, but it's you, right now, who decides what that past means. Which, of course, leads to a pretty tough question for all of us to ask ourselves. When you say, oh, I can't change, that's just the way I am, is that actually true? Or is it just that you don't want to change? Because let's be honest, staying the same, even if it's miserable, often feels a whole lot safer. And that's exactly why we cling so tightly to our past. We use it as an excuse. Because actually changing, really letting go of that old identity, I'm the anxious one, or I'm the one who always has bad luck, it can feel like a part of you is dying. It takes a huge amount of courage to step into a new identity you don't even know yet. All right, so all of this builds to what is maybe the most important part of this whole philosophy, and that's the journey from focusing on I to focusing on we. It's about moving beyond ourselves to find what really makes us happy. See, Adler argued that chasing after being special or superior to everyone else, it's a total dead end. It will never make you happy. He said that real, lasting happiness comes from something he called social interest. And all that means is feeling like you are a useful, contributing part of your community. Your value isn't measured by how much better you are than other people, it's measured by your contribution to other people. And this idea totally transforms how we think about relationships. Most of the time, we operate on what you could call credit. It's conditional, like, I believe in you because you have a good job and a great track record. But what Adler advocates for is trust, an unconditional belief in the person themselves, no matter what. And in our romantic relationships, wow, this changes everything. The typical approach, maybe the immature one, is all about me. How can you make me happy? What are you going to do for me? But the shift here is profound. It's moving the focus to us. The question becomes, how can we be happy together? What can we build as a team? It's a simple pronoun change, but it changes the entire dynamic. And this is how these massive philosophical ideas become incredibly practical. There's this quote, often attributed to Mother Teresa, that just says it all. You want to promote world peace? You don't start at the UN. You go home and love your family. Real contribution, real change. It starts right there, in your own life, with the people closest to you. So I want to leave you with this final thought. What if we just stopped? What if we all stopped trying to climb this imaginary ladder? You know, the one where for us to go up, someone else has to be down below. What if we finally understood that our real value, our deepest sense of happiness, isn't found by looking up at the top, but by turning to the person right next to us and simply asking, how can I help?